Have you fallen into an open manhole recently? Do you find yourself in the company of strangers? Well, then you might very well be in the feature Underground. For all you know, my name is Hunter Lanier, and I am here today with a review of the upcoming Jason Statham beat-em-up Mutiny, releasing this weekend on August 21st, unless you're one of those people that watched the movie when it accidentally got released onto Amazon Prime streaming. Yes, that did happen. Mutiny is, more or less, what you expect it to be. It is Jason Statham scowling and maiming, taking down more nameless grunts than a Cheeto-dusted PlayStation controller. If you look at the publicity stills released for this movie, Jason Statham is making the exact same face in every one. In order to justify his character's gratuitous methods, in order to put his character on such a moral high ground that those methods do not seem so gratuitous, the film must instead bury the bad guys in such a deep, dark hole of a moral low ground, which in this case is human trafficking. If they were instead, for example, jewel thieves, well, then Jason Statham impaling their faces with a padlock might come off as a little egregious. What is the plot of this movie, you may be asking? To answer you, I will ask you a question in return, which is, do you really care? Does it really matter? The plot in this movie is just the flimsiest of scaffolding, just sturdy enough to support all of the falling bodies. The Statham character is on a boat getting revenge for the death of a guy he used to work for, a guy he liked. Now, Statham's character being around the block, he knows how rare it is to work for someone that isn't an imbecile or a sycophant or a megalomaniac or some unholy combination of the three. If you do find yourself such a boss, it makes perfect sense to want to track their killer down to the middle of the ocean and snip the killer's mortal coil like it is a tag on a new shirt. On the boat, in pursuit of this very thing, Statham's character runs into a like-minded woman whose backstory is so thin it actually dissolves as the movie goes on. She is about as underwritten and low effort as a femme fatale can be. I'll say this for the movie. The action is easy to follow, it's often fun, and it is given a good rhythm in the editing room. You're never at a loss for what is happening on screen, you're not getting a migraine, you don't get the sense that the director feels like he has to hide bad choreography behind a spastic camera. Where this movie screws up isn't necessarily with the ingredients, although there are quibbles to be had there, but it's an action movie. It's kind of a straight-to-DVD type of fun, dumb action movie, so let's not get too hung up on the quality of the ingredients. This is kind of like fast food. But I think where the movie really screws up is with the ratio of those ingredients. When the film gets out of second gear and the fists start flying, it's fun. Everything between that, though, and there's a lot that's between that, is just unexceptional actors delivering unexceptional writing. Given the energy and zaniness of the action, you would hope that those same qualities could have been applied to everything else in the movie. It's that very thing that makes the low-budget, personality-driven action films of the 70s so great and so memorable. But in Mutiny, when Statham isn't shooting things up, the film takes itself so seriously. It is so drab and straight-faced, when it has no right to be. The final boss of this movie, the puppet master behind all of it, is just a guy in a suit with a laptop. If this film starred Pam Grier or Clint Eastwood, they would have spared him in the end out of pure disgust. They would have walked right past him into a better movie. I found myself while watching Mutiny thinking of another movie I saw this year that was much better, that did a lot of this stuff much better, and that's The Furious. The Furious has a much better handle on that ratio between setup and literal punchline. It has more personality. It's so much more playful. I know the Hong Kong film scene isn't what it used to be, given the encroaching influence of their Chinese overlords, but they still have such a better beat on the art of the action film. If you're the kind of person that watches movies purely for escapism, purely to be distracted by thousands of colorful lights and forget about your life, Mutiny might be just what you're looking for on an uneventful work week afternoon. On the other hand, if you expect anything even remotely substantive or rewarding from the movie-going experience, anything beyond the outsourcing of the cold-blooded killing of your precious time, the lopsided ratio of poorly written drama and zany action in Mutiny makes the latter not quite worth sitting through the former. Well, those are all my thoughts on Mutiny. Now's the time for you to let me know your thoughts on my thoughts. Next up, I will be seeing the new Ridley Scott movie, The Dog Stars, on next Monday. So I'll have that review out probably by Wednesday. Until then, I leave you with the very convenient truth that every day underground is a good day.
Me around, beating in my head, never letting up. Did you ever want to forget anything? Did you ever want to cut away a piece of your memory or blot it out? You can't, you know. No matter how hard you try. You can change the scenery, but sooner or later you'll get a whiff of perfume where somebody will say a certain